All right, we're back in my seed room. Today it's a little cool in here, but typically our seed room is where everything starts that we start growing in the greenhouse. So our vegetables, some of our flowers. I'm going to talk a little bit about starting by seed, and then Matt's got the next stage up. He's going to talk a little bit about growing from plugs. And so, you know, we have benches and benches of all of our little trays of seed starters, and if you take a look here, if the camera kind of spans across, we have them in all different sizes of trays, and
all various stages.
Yep. We have usually what we do is a lot of my seeds I start by the 1st of January, sometimes even December for some of the peppers that we want to grow bigger. Tomatoes, we're just kind of staging those throughout. A lot of herbs here. I have this tray right here of some of the things I've already taken off the tray and planted it into our next stage, like our flats and our packs. New basil for us, it's called Basil Mammoth. The leaves are supposed to be so large that they'll fit right across the top of a sandwich. A really nice growing basil. It sprouted so beautifully, very easy. And from here we'll take these guys out in usually groups of 3 and plant them up in our single packs for our herbs. We've got a lot of other things going on here. Some of these guys are real delicate. We do everything by hand here at Bensel's. So I've got some little poppies. I'm going to let these guys get a little bit bigger before we really handle them. Usually at this point they only have one little root to them, and that's why we sow them into a shallow tray. So when that little root hits the ground, then they start dividing up. I've got celery parcel. We've been growing celery parcel for a while here. If you have troubles growing celery, this is actually a celery flavor but grows like parsley, so it's a very interesting herb. We've got some calendula growing in our little trays here. Those will pop up into some single packs.
And that's one of the other things that you can show is sometimes you'll start a seed in an actual individual cell rather than in a seed tray. Now some of your seeds are going to be better off in a seed tray, but by having them in an individual cell, it reduces some of the labor that you were just talking about by having to pull them apart. A
lot of plants don't like to be transplanted either. Your poppies are a good example, and those are something that we kind of put them together in a 4.5-inch pot, but ideally they should almost be, if we're selling them, they should be into like a jiffy pot that can be planted in the ground. So, you know,
one way to combat that is to grow with plugs. So with plugs, you're actually buying in or bringing in these smaller cells, and they come in all different sizes. You can get them all the way from a 588, which is a tiny little plug, all the way up to an 18 strip tray, which is pretty much a full-grown plant, something that will be ready to go even into your garden at that point. And now when you bring in plugs, one of the things that you need to consider is that this is a little bit more mature plant than something you're pulling off the seed tray. And then you've got all the roots from that plant right in this individual little area. So you're going to want to nestle it a little bit and then transplant it into like a 1204 or 1206, which are your cell packs that a lot of people are used to. This is a beautiful little time right here. It smells awesome. It's got that fragrance, that aroma. You know, just walking into your seed room and getting a chance to handle some of these herbs, you get the fragrances and the scents of summer.
And that's another one,
awesome.
Matt. We can, I think with some of the later videos that we're going to talk about, this is silver posy time. Very beautiful plant that you want to, it trails down. So, you know, it's one of your spillers, I guess it's called. And not only that, but it flowers beautifully. It's got light pink flowers, and you can plant it in the ground. It's kind of technically one of your little steppables. So a pretty well-rounded plant. So a lot of different things that we go through as far as growing, you know, just wanted to show everybody how things start here in the greenhouse and get everyone excited as we are. Sun's coming up, and it's time for us to go talk about a few different ways to put together some items for spring.